Now, Helen Martin has been nominated for a fundraising award for the work that she's done with the Huntington Disease Association. Now, this is something that's extremely close to her heart, and she's with us this afternoon to tell us more. Helen, lovely to have you with us. Before we talk about Huntington's in itself, it is close to your heart because your husband has it. When was he first diagnosed?
He was diagnosed about 7 years ago. He was just a little bit clumsy, and we found out that his father had it. So, yeah, we basically marched off to the doctors and demanded a test. And, a month later we found out that he had it. And now he's progressed into a nursing home, unfortunately.
And he's only, 62?
62, yeah.
For people who don't really know much about this disease, what exactly is it?
So Huntington's disease is a hereditary degenerative neuropsychiatric disorder, I know that's quite a mouthful, that causes progressive mental deterioration, significant behavioural changes and severe physical incapacity. Huntington's affects each person differently, making diagnosis, treatment and care a chaotic challenge. Some patients endure mainly physical degeneration and dementia. Others suffer from debilitating mental disease, mental illness, depression, paranoia, schizophrenia. Whilst also enduring the spasmodic muscle contractions that twist the face and hands, constantly affecting the patient's balance and ability to move and speak. As their muscles deteriorate, they lose the ability to chew and swallow food, becoming emaciated from the dangerous weight loss that causes. And
you mentioned the fact that it was your husband just started off being a little bit clumsy. So you had no idea before that this ran in the family?
No idea whatsoever. I for about a year, I just said, you know what men are like, they won't go to the doctors. So I was constantly at him to go to the doctors and have an MOT, but it progressed that we found out that his dad had it, and that was it.
And how long was it before he had to move into the care home?
I gave up work in October 2015 and he moved into the care home last year in September.
And to have the test itself, obviously it's a really big deal, isn't it? Because finding this out affects your life quite dramatically, and it's not just a simple case of going and having a test, is it?
No, it is quite traumatic. You have to go to Liverpool to have it first of all. And it's 3 lots of counselling, severe counselling. They won't do the test, even if you've decided the first time after the counselling, I want the test. They will not do that test until you've gone and had your 3rd lot of counselling, because it affects everything in your life. It can, from buying a house to what you do with your life, the rest of your life.
And obviously one of the things it would also affect is family, and of course there is family involved in this. So how have they coped with it?
Yeah, we've got a pretty strong network, family, friends, that, without them it would be extremely difficult. But the family, our son is having the test in a month's time. So he's gone through the stages of having the counselling. But yeah, without the support, it just would be really difficult.
And this is a disease that there is no cure. I mean, how manageable are the symptoms of it?
They're not really manageable. There is medication to reduce the movements, and that is the biggest thing, the movements, because if you think of yourself moving all the time, and just, it's a bit more than Parkinson's. If you think of yourself moving all the time, you're using more calories. So that's where the weight loss comes in, no matter how much you eat. So yeah, it's difficult.
And at the point of your husband's diagnosis, there was no specific group over here to support people going through this. I mean, is there any idea how many people have this disease over here?
There's about 10 that we know of, and there could be more that are symptomatic, that have the gene. So what we're saying is we do have that support group. We started, there was nothing on the Isle of Man, and I thought, well, that's just not good enough. So February last year, I set up the support group, and we've got a nice little group of people. We meet once a month, every 3rd Monday. So if there is people out there that have got the gene, or, want to come to the group, just contact me. Yeah.
And we're also joined by Bev Garvey. Bev, how did you get involved in the group?
Well, originally, I had meetings with, was it Heidi at the hospital?
Yeah.
And she gave me Helen's contact number and said they were having a meeting. And it was just amazing. The first evening I went, it was just like, wow, old people that are carers or who've got the gene, like-minded people who are just amazing. So it's other people who are going through what you are and talk about it. All we have is an hour, and that's enough. And it's just wonderful.
And this is because you have the gene yourself, don't you, Bev? When did you actually find out?
6 years ago.
And one of the things we're talking about is that you mentioned the symptoms there, Helen, but everyone is sort of an individual case, aren't they? Because it doesn't progress in the same way in each person. How has it sort of manifested itself in you?
Well, at the moment, I'm asymptomatic. So I've got the gene, but it could develop at any time. It could be a couple of years or it could be 5 years. I don't know. And the reason I got tested was for my daughters, because I was fine and, I was having a really good life. Excuse me. And I couldn't see any reason why I would need to get tested. It's no different than, you may get knocked over by a car or something. So I just thought, well, I don't really need to know. But then I thought, I owe it to my daughters. And so that's why I got tested. And I was really hoping that I would be, wouldn't have the gene. And unfortunately, I have the gene. And my daughters, I've got grandchildren as well, so we're all hoping that eventually there will be a cure. But I'm really good at being careful what I eat in the morning, fruits, and feeding my brain and things like that. So I think that probably helps me to keep healthy. Lots of exercise as well.
And as you say, just having a group of people who have some understanding of what it's like for you and what you've been through really is hugely beneficial as well. We did mention the fundraising. We have to go back to this,
Yay.
Helen, because this started as what you decided to have a head shave, not just not with clippers. Oh no, not for you.
No.
You had a proper wet shave.
Yeah, if I do something, I do it fully. If anybody knows me, they'll know that I go all out.
So why did you decide to do that in the first place?
Well, the year before, I sort of had my birthday, and I asked people to come to my birthday and just donate. And I thought it sort of went on. It got to October. I thought, well, I'm going to have to do something again now. So I thought, well, I need to do something bigger. I thought, right, I'm not going to do the dip because no way. It's too cold. So yeah, I decided on the head shave. It was great, and it started off a really small matter, and then it just grew into this massive event where I went to the Legion, and we had this massive raffle. The Manx companies were superb. We had some fantastic prizes, and Barclays Bank helped out as well. A Peel charity shop were amazing. And all in all, we raised, I think it was over 9 grand, 9,500, I think it was, just on that one event, which is amazing.
But since then, you've done a number of other events, haven't you?
Yeah, well, I wasn't happy with the 9,500. I wanted to get to the 10. And I just decided April the 1st, everybody thought it was an April Fool's thing, because I said, right, April the 1st, I'm having 6 months no alcohol. If anybody knows me, I'm a bit of a party girl as well. So 6 months without alcohol, everyone's saying, no, you're not going to do that. But again, when I stick my mind to something, I do it. And that started off a small thing, 6 months no alcohol, donations, ended up having an 80s party with a big raffle again. And again, Manx companies were amazing. And we got up to the 14,000 mark, which was out of this, blew me away, absolutely blew me away.
And tell me about this award then that you have been nominated for.
So the award is for the Huntingtons most inspirational volunteer, I think it's called. And the Huntingtons, and the ceremony is on the 14th of July in Liverpool. And when I got told about it, I thought, oh, I've got no chance. I'm up against people that run marathons. I've only had my head shaved and given up alcohol. So, but what I'm asking, you know, for me, it's not about me. It's about every single person that's donated and how the Manx community have come together. So really, what I want the Manx people to do is to vote for me, because it would be amazing for the Isle of Man to win that award.
And I think the voting closes on the 22nd, doesn't it? So they've got about a week or so to do so. So we'll make sure that we put all of the details on the page. Tell me a little bit about this bowling competition as well.
The bowling competition?
Yeah, Crown Bowls.
The Isle of Man Bowls Festival?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's on next week. I've won that twice. I have been playing for 37 years. I know I don't look that old, but yeah, so the Isle of Man Bowls Festival is a huge event for the Manx bowlers, because people come from across, and there's some really great bowling people. So yeah, I do love it. It's on every June and every September.
And we've talked a little bit about your husband, who, as you mentioned, is in a care home now, and you actually work in the same care home, don't you?
I do, yes. I'm activities coordinator. It just came about. He was already in the home, and I'd sort of given up work to look after him, and then he was put in the home, and I just said to the manager, I'm looking for a job, and they came up with this for me, which was great. It just suited my personality.
And it also, I suppose, gives you that really important link still with him.
It certainly does. I do see him every day, which is great. And it's good for him as well, seeing a familiar face every day. So, yeah.
And one of the things you mentioned, you said you didn't necessarily run marathons, but you're actually looking for some support for people who maybe do have marathons and the like that they're going to be running, to possibly consider this charity as something that they could support. Definitely.
So I'm all about raising awareness. Firstly, raising awareness of Huntingtons, and secondly, we've started the Manx charity. It's brand new, so we need all the support we can get to buy specialised equipment for Manx people who've got the disease, and to also send people on seminars, because we don't have that over here. We have to go away to go to seminars, which are really important, with workshops, and also the AGM, which has got several workshops, and the network of meeting other people with the disease, which is really important for the support to help you, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Well, Helen, Bev, it's so lovely to have you with us this afternoon. Thank you so much for taking the time to come and see us. We will put all the details of how people can support you and, importantly, vote for you, Helen, on the Women's Day blog after the programme. You mentioned the fact that the charity's only just been registered. You just had your first gig during TT Week.
We did. Thanks to Manx Charity Aid, we were one of the charities on the Sunday before it all started with Bushies. And it was an amazing day. We were all there. I was there for 12 hours. I lasted for 12 hours, which was amazing. So we've huge thanks to them, because I don't know how much we've raised yet, but yeah, that's our first bit of income.
Wonderful.